Welcome to the Latvian Football Podcast, where today we're going to talk about the summer transfer window in Virsliga. It's our second special episode in that we're not covering Virsliga or anything like that. We're just going to see who bought whom, who sold whom, and how we think that changes the competitive landscape of the league. Joining me today is a very special guest, an account that many of you may be following for information about Virsliga in English. And we're very excited to have him, Jānis.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. And maybe everybody is pretty much know me from the account. So happy to be here to talk with Dimitris about the transfers in Virsliga.
Yeah, so the account that we're talking about is, of course, the Twitter or X these days, whatever it is, Latvian Football in English account. So we very often use that as a means to not have to actually do any work and write things out because you do it so excellently. And on the off chance any of our listeners do not follow you, well, then we certainly urge you to do that. So Virsliga transfers. The Virsliga transfer window is pretty much all of July. This is when teams can buy and sell players that are not free agents. And then, of course, the free agent window is beyond that. This year, there's been some activity. I can't really tell if it's been more than usual, but I kind of just counted a couple of basic things. And in total, during this summer transfer window, all Virsliga teams, so this is not counting outgoing transfers, this is just incoming transfers that are both loans and player purchases, as well as academy transfers, so teams registering new players from their academy. But it all comes up to 72 players joining the Virsliga clubs during this summer transfer window, with no surprise there, Liepāja being by far the most active club in this respect, signing 16 players for the second half of the season. How does it seem to you? Is this okay, normal, business as usual?
To be honest, I have to say it's pretty much normal, in my opinion, because most of those signings, for example, you talk about Liepāja, they were having 16 new signings, but pretty much half of them were youth players who are joining Liepāja from other academies outside Liepāja. For example, there's a city right next to Liepāja, small city Nīca called. So players are coming from there to Liepāja, and pretty much that's the case for I think every team which has those transfers, because Rigas are signing players from their academy to their main team, but mostly will not play there for this year or next year. They are using them for the reserve teams, for youth teams. So pretty much, but to be honest, the number is around 40 new players, 30, 40, around 30, 40 new players in the players who will be used in first team, which is I think a very normal number if we count summer transfer windows, because usually in the winter the number is a bit higher, but during the summer that number is real normal. And to be honest, Liepāja I think has the most signings in the summer, 8 or 9 if I remember correctly. So to answer your question, yeah, I think it's normal to have it's pretty usual stuff from year in, year out.
Yeah, I mean, well, if there's no quantitative noteworthiness, maybe let's talk about the qualitative aspects. Shall we start with RFS and what they did?
Yeah, we can start with the RFS.
So RFS, I think maybe was one of the more noteworthy players in the transfer window, in that they brought some, let's say, familiar names. We talked about it on the podcast previously, that Darko Limaic is back from Ghent. that Herdi Prenga, who used to play for Riga FC, is also back to Virsliga. Then some familiar names to Latvian football followers, such as Daniels Ontujans, coming from Freiburg to Virsliga for the first time, playing in Latvia. And then some new faces as well, like Floris Chave, like Dragoljub Savic.
Yeah. But to talk about them, they signed also the Jamaican midfielder or winger.
Campbell or something like that, right?
Yeah, right. So pretty much what is going on there is they are rebuilding. The squad is getting older, and you can see the pattern if we compare to like 3 years ago, RFS, because they signed I was looking at it, they signed like older players who has had Virsliga experience, and they are signing like younger players. For example, in 2020, they signed Emerson, who was 20, and they signed in that winter also they signed a 29-year-old Petar Mares, Tomislav Saric from Riga FC, and in the two-year span they signed like most of their young players, Žiga Lipuščak included, who are now like main pieces for the RFS success and the main guys who won the championship for them 2 years ago. So pretty much they are rebuilding, and they signed Lemajic and Prenga, two players with Virsliga experience who are a little bit older, going in the late 20s. They are going the same pattern, like bringing like a little bit older players with Virsliga experience and younger players who can they integrate in their squad or their reserve team, or loaning them out to other teams in Campbell's case. So pretty much they are trying to build a new team, still maintaining the championship aspirations.
So you think this is their strategy? Because we've discussed RFS transfer strategy a few times before, and then you think that this is it, that they get older, experienced players who played in Virsliga, primarily in Riga FC, and then put a bunch of promising youngsters on top and kind of try to go this way?
That's pretty much how I think the things are going down there, like their transfer plan all the time. Because to be honest, I'm not surprised about Ilic transfer to Norway because they signed Lemajic for it to replace him. But unfortunately, he got injured just, so they will have to like now have another goal scorer. For example, like Diomande, who has done very well. He's still young, might be a little inconsistent, but still, yeah, to be honest, to me, that's like how they do things. That's how I see they do things. So pretty much, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. But yeah, you mentioned Ilic. Ilic, who was brought in originally to replace Darko Lemajic when Lemajic went to Ghent a couple of years ago. Now it's back to how it was. Lemajic has returned and Ilic is sold to a Norwegian Vålerenga for alleged 1.1 million euros, which is an excellent deal for RFS.
I'm a little surprised that it's only him right now because I did hear that Giga might be next after the Europe, and I was very convincing about it after they signed Herdi Prenga because I thought it will be his replacement. I am still surprised that he's on the team right now, but I think RFS like board didn't want to lose like two key players, because if they lose two key players, then pretty much is a little bit too much, and you are battling for the league title.
Yeah, and not to forget that not due to transfer, but due to injury, Panic is out. They did bring a replacement or a stopgap in the persona of Adewale Oladoye, who also used to play for Ghent, and I think is now starting to play, and it seems all right. Also, Jata is out due to long-term injury, so some definitely midfield troubles, not just in front of goal.
Yeah, obviously, because they didn't decide the Nigerian that midfielder they would have to start is using the CDM or the 18-year-old Jaleko. So next to Marhillo with panic injury, so they had to get someone there.
Other departures to note, Vlalukin was purchased by TSC, which is a Serbian club, for 80,000 euros. And of course, Faustas Stepanovicius, without having played a single official match for RFS, was sold to Bulgaria for 100,000 euros.
Yeah, pretty much. But to be honest, those fees, transfer fees, are maybe a little off, because I know Valalukin went for that kind of money, but Faust is around the same money. But to be honest, there's one other interesting transfer. If we talk about Lalukin, he's joining the team who played in the Champions League qualifiers, so he's guaranteed a group stage for the second year in a row. So that's a good deal, I think, for him to went back to Serbia and play there, even though he had sporadic minutes here in Riga, RFS. So pretty much, yeah, and can't forget about the Bosnian forward Golianin. He's also loaned out to Serbian with option to the Serbian league with an option to buy. So they are like bringing in some new guys, but they are also like selling some new guys. So that's a interesting concept. Like they don't like these players, or these players are getting some kind of an interest around Europe, so they are selling them, and they are bringing in like new players on like free transfer. Only except for the Jamaican winger, that Campbell guy. I think they bought him from the Jamaican side. The others I think are coming on for free. So pretty much that's their transfer plan, bringing in new players for free or for some 10,000 euros as a transfer fee, and selling them for a little bigger, even though they are younger.
Well, that's RFS.
Yeah,
Let's move on to Valmiera, the one that that hurts us so badly this season. I don't even know if it's really worth speaking of who they signed as much as who they let go of.
we can talk about like pretty much what they did not do.
We don't have that much time, but
Okay, but
they...
yeah, but to be honest, I'm gonna just quick short like about Valmiera. I'm not surprised about them, but a little bit disappointed.
A little bit. Well, you're an optimist.
Because I knew what they are doing, what their plan is. Their owner signed new players, and he's selling them for profit, even though he's not gonna keep them, and he's gonna bring in some new players, what he did in the winter, but they did disappoint. So about Volmir transfers, I had little hope when they bought that Ukrainian midfielder, Kapic.
But not Ukrainian. He's
Yeah,
Bosnian.
Bosnian. I'm sorry, Bosnian midfielder from Ukrainian
He
club.
came from Ukraine, yeah, but he's Bosnian.
Yeah, the midfielder. And I had a little hope. Oh, there are like 4 or 5 days till the transfer window is open, so maybe they are gonna bring in some more players. And they are loaning him out like 10 days later. So pretty much that's like just crushed everything I had a hope for in Valmiera in Europe. And also one other thing is the goalkeeping situation. That's one big disappointment for me. I don't know how true it was that Matrovic might have been loaned out to Valmiera for the summer, or the Riga FC goalkeeper, now the backup goalkeeper who played in Valmiera last year. I don't know how true it was, but if they had a chance to get him in summer from Riga, even on loan, I think they would get past Partizani, because also is terrible. I have said it from the beginning, from when I saw the first game. Yeah, he's a great shot stopper, but he's a very stiff guy. He's very stiff. He doesn't move like right, in my opinion. He's not like a fluid goalkeeper. I said it from the beginning, and I haven't liked him from the beginning. And Lauva is too young to be a starting caliber goalkeeper right now in Virsliga. So yeah, that's pretty much my two thoughts about the incoming transfers. Who would have happened, maybe or maybe not.
Interesting. Haven't heard about Matrovic. Really wouldn't even know what to feel of that, to be honest. On the one hand, clearly a valuable addition to Valmir. On the other hand, there's these strong mana vibes where someone is ready to take the next step in their career, but then is sort of being held or pulled back to Valmiera. So I guess team-wise, good. Again, personality-wise, maybe a little bit underwhelming.
The main difference between Mena and Maturid's situation, Mena played in like Poland, Polish Ekstraklasa, and he's coming back to Virsliga. As in Matrevic's case, he's not even playing in Virsliga. He has like 2 games this season, and mostly he has played for the reserve team. So playing time would be very important for him. So I might be making this up, but I did hear that.
Of course, more star players left. Ivan Zelisko and Camilo Meno off to Lechia Gdansk, which is now also owned by the same person who owns Valmiera. We talked about this gutting a few times, and Alvis Jaunzems is off to also to Poland to Stal Mielec. Mielec. I don't even know.
Mielec, yeah.
Mielec. So an exodus of players from Latvia to Ekstraklasa, which is, not bad. But Valmiera is pretty much done, I feel like. They weren't in it from the beginning, and now they are absolutely, without a doubt, out of it. And as we spoke on the last episode, we wouldn't even be surprised if they end up being left out of the 4 European spots that are up for grabs for next season.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with you. And the biggest departure, like in my opinion, is Jelisko and Janssens. To me, Jelisko was the one who held everything at the midfielder, while now they are playing Ganem, who is having mistake after mistake in every game. The Algerian guy, who is just 20 years old, and Janssens is like the main guy on the team. Pretty much was. He holds the record for Valmiera, most games played in Virsliga in Valmiera shirt. Nothing to add, to be honest, because I did suspect that this will happen. Let's say that because end of the summer transfer window, there were some rumors in the winter this year that they will be sold there. There was Baluadis name there, Jaunzem's name there. So Jaunzems is gone. Maybe Baluadis will be next. Not obviously this year, but in the winter transfer window, we will see what will happen. But yeah, I agree with you. Valmier is now shelved themselves and are looking really in tough position, to be honest. Obviously, the injuries when the season started with Gay and Varslavans do a damage because Gaze would be the top scorer in my opinion in the league, and he did start good, but still Valmier right now with all the injured list or and all the departures are heading in the wrong direction, and especially with their goalkeeping depth, like they will have to be lucky and have to play a lot better to secure a top 4 spot in the league because the cup is going to one of the Riga teams, in my opinion. That's pretty much how I see things, and they can't even be left out from the Europe next season. And I hope that this will not be like Jurmal Spartak's case, pretty much winning the title, bringing in like low level foreigners, and then the team is gone.
Yeah, no, that's a negative outlook. We definitely don't want that. But I mean, yeah, okay. Valmir is being sold for spare parts. It's as simple as that. So let's move to Liepaja, the team that is buying everything that moves from Senegal.
That's pretty much how they do things, in my opinion. But I was in the friendly game against when in the summer when they didn't like announce the Senegalese players first, but they did play a lot of them, and I saw there was like 6 of them, and they played against Šiauliai, the Lithuanian side. They looked pretty good in my opinion, and I saw that the agent, who is like pretty much the Ambar's agent for all of those players, and yeah, I thought, yeah, there's something going on there. Like they will like announce like a lot of foreigners, and like 3 days later, it happened. So pretty much, in my opinion, that academy is pretty good. They have sold players to who are playing right now in top 5 leagues. I don't remember the names, but there are players who are playing in League One in France and in Belgium, if I remember correctly. And Levi has had previously had ties with the Diambars Academy because Seydina Keita, long lasting player who played in Lepaia, Seydina Keita comes from that academy. But to talk about those Senegalese, I think they brought in 5 of them. But to me, in my opinion, they had like a package deal. You you really want this one, you have to take that one, like a package deal. And I still haven't figured out who is the main prize from that like package. To me, it's likely like the right back, or his left back. I don't remember the Muhammad Diab, but he's pretty bad on defense. He has some kind of skills on offense, but he's pretty bad on defense. He has, because of him, Levi has allowed some goals. And Cheikh Faye, he looks promising, but he's already 24, so I don't know. To be honest, I don't get these signings. I get some Georgian players. There is long history with Georgian players in Latvia, like heading back 20 years ago, even like with the same Pertia playing in Latvia. So there is like Georgian player history in Latvia who are playing very well. But the Senegalese players, they are a little too much in my opinion. But that's how they do things. But let's talk about the best thing what we have here. The young Latvian players heading to Liepaja, like Melkis back or Patichuk joining in, because the player Melkis is, if we compare him to this year, and last year, not last year, when he was in Lepa, I don't remember when was Noah in the league 2 years ago. If we compare those 2 years, different kind of player. Now he can start for Liepaja, in my opinion. And all the talks that Latvian players don't want to play for Liepaja, I think is a myth, because Melch shows that if you are capable of playing, Thomas will play you. Yeah, Liepaja is right now struggling with Latvian players just because of injuries. Tiedenbergs is out long term. Melkis is like pretty much starting because of that, but he's taking opportunity. He's taking opportunity there. And I think Patichuks, who came from Jelgava, is gonna do the same. He had some bad luck because of injury, but I think he's gonna come in and slot in the starting lineup as soon as he's 100% sure ready to play, because he already scored the game-winning goal against Daugavpils. I think Liepaja, in terms of Latvian players, is in good position. But those foreigners, yeah, I don't know about them. How many of them will be here like next year, in my opinion? I don't know. Will Thomas even be here next year? I don't know. Because if they make it to the Europe, I think Thomas will stay.
I mean, they look fine, the Senegalese players. Question is, are they better than if Lepe just grabbed a bunch of guys from the local academy? Some people say, well, maybe not necessarily, but they are probably cheaper. So
That's one thing. What I don't like about when people talk about, oh, just bring in like 10 academy players, 17-year-olds, and just put them in the squad and let's play them. They will not look like weaker than if we compare to like you bring in like 5 foreign players in the squad with some Latvian players. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna lose like 5-0, 6-0, in my opinion, because the skill level still is, for those 16, 17-year-olds, are not developed really well.
yeah, skill,
Physique, athleticism, everything
they still
taking
have to go to
place.
school. They can't do this full time.
Pretty much that's the case. Obviously, the level of the foreigners who they bring in right now is not good. It's like, yeah, you can bring back Vitalis Maximenko from retirement in place of like one of these Senegalese players. He will look worse? No, I don't think so. So you can talk about like experienced Latvian players, but what is the point of that, in my opinion? So yeah, the Liepaja have like foreigners who are, if compared to last season, foreigners are their quality has dropped magnificently. So But that's because they didn't make the Europe and cut the budget there.
Yeah.
So that's why they are in the situation like that. Obviously, I would love that they keep the same squad for like year or two. So yeah, that's pretty much my only like wish
I,
for them.
I would love it if they kept the same squad for a season this season, but it's fine. I mean, they're still sitting in third place at the moment, so clearly, I mean, wouldn't go as far as to say that it's working, but they're getting by.
Yeah.
Then next is Riga, the famous big spender.
What you want to talk about, Riga?
There's a
There's
lot, yeah. There's some
yeah.
very exciting players. Obviously, Mankendai came over from Liepāja and is opening up in the important games. Then they signed a bunch of relatively high-profile internationals like Contreras,
Iberico,
yeah,
yeah, Costa
Iberico,
Rica, Peru, Iberico from Peru. Yeah,
Brian Peña, not really in the category of high-profile internationals, but a Barcelona academy player coming in from, I think, Slovenia or Slovakia.
Slovakia, yeah, he came from.
Slovakia, and really showing some exciting stuff.
So yeah, about three, I love what they are doing. They knew what they were doing coming into the transfer window, but I didn't expect that they will that they will sign like two new forwards because the profile of forwards they were like interested in, it was quite a few. To name the few, I remember there was one guy, Exposito. There were rumors about they want to buy like Exposito from Polish side Slash for 1 million. He's still playing there. It didn't go through. There was some player, Colombian forward Patino. I think he's right now playing in the USA second division. And there was also one guy, Nigerian forward, rumored to signed already with Riga, but he like got cold feet and got out. He signed with the Serie A team in Italia right now, just a few days ago. So to be honest, they were looking for forwards, and that indicated to me that I thought that they will sell Regja, but it looks like they will keep him and they will move on with three forwards right now. And it looks like Stipic made some adjustments in the formation, and lately he's using two forward rotation. So that kind of makes sense that you have now three forwards on the roster. And to talk about Contreras, I love Contreras. My my favorite player, my favorite transfer in from this summer, because the way he plays, the way he's always engaged, he's tackling, he's like going nuts every time. And the second one is Taiwo, the Nigerian forward who had some good stats in Slovakia. And I was talking with a Slovakian fan who is a fan of that Spartak Trnava team where Taiwo played last year. He was here for the Auda game in the Europa Conference League. He was here. I said to him that Taiwo, oh, I don't like really Taiwo. He doesn't show me something like what I expected. And he said, "Oh, just wait." He started bad in Slovakia also, but he like went crazy at the end of the season, and we lost him because he scored a game-winning goal. I think it was the game-winning goal in the Slovakian Cup for Trnava, and they won the trophy. And right now are like one step from the Europa Conference League because of that. So yeah, you have to wait and see with Taiwo. But to me, for the first time, it feels like Riga has found some forward because previously they had some a lot of forwards has come on and go out. For example, like I don't know, like let's start with Debelko. He was good in Europe, but in league he didn't score a lot. He was a hard worker. Bilinski also didn't score a lot. There were Milosevic and Torres. Milosevic and Torres, those two guys scored at high rate. They didn't score in important games for Riga. So I think right now obviously also it's easy to score if you are playing for Riga. So because the players are pretty good around you. So I think they Contreras, Taiwo, and Regja is the best Virsliga trio of forwards we have had. I don't know in history, maybe I might go there, but yes, they are gonna score goals and they're gonna have great stats, and I love all of them. A little bit less Taiwo, but he's coming over for me. But if you talk about others, Iberico and Peña, also love them from what I have seen, especially Peña. Iberico has had some injury history. Like right now, like he got here and already got injured. But with Peña, the way he plays, he's like little Dashkevich. Like he's not like little Dashkevich. Dashkevich is like little Peña, but they are both similar type of players, so it's great to watch them both. But Mankenda, I don't believe the Mankenda hype, in my opinion. He's a great player. He has shown abilities, but to me, he last season when he came in Lepaya, he played awesome football. He did these things what he did against Hungarian side, and he was dribbling past everyone, scoring goals even, and doing stuff like this, just bringing wow to the fans in the stands. But the teams are like preparing for him. The Hungarian side didn't know him. Did they watch his film from the Lepaya games? I don't think so. So he catch them, in my opinion, by surprise because I don't think he even played in the first game in Hungary. I don't remember. So yeah, he came by surprise, like for the Hungarian coach, and he can bring those like great, exciting games outside. But to me, he's not consistent enough. And was he worth like 100,000? Yes, especially for the Hungarian game. But in long term, I don't think so. So that's the one transfer I don't like from Riga side, but I like from Lepai side because they got the money for the player who didn't want to play for them.
Yeah, he's a little too, I don't know, like a player who is so inconsistent. It makes him unpredictable. And if he's so subject to, whether he feels excited to play in any given game or not, then that obviously limits his utility. But there was an interview with Robert Savarnieks from just recently, from when Mankenda joined Liepaja, and Savarnieks was there too. And there's some funny stories about that as well. Fortunately, only available in Latvian, but maybe we'll talk about it at some point later.
Because he's like good player. He has some quality, but he's very inconsistent. I don't think he brings that same of the game when there are like 100 people on the stands, 200, 300. Like there is full house. He can deliver, in my opinion, but also not on the daily basis because in 20 he was like shell of himself.
Yeah, I mean, not just 20. When Liepa was playing RFS had no issue shutting Mankenda out of the game. So, as you said, if you prepare for him, then that's it.
Yeah, because teams are preparing for him and they know what his moves will be like. But one interesting thing about Riga, I thought they will add some depth. They added some forwards, some midfielders. I thought they will add some center backs, and I was really hoping that they will sign Dubra, but Dubra went to the Lithuanian side. So to make like Dubra Chernomordy's back center back duo, but because in my opinion they could upgrade on Bosancic. He doesn't feel like a wall player to me. But yeah, that's pretty much the only like thing I was hoping for, in my opinion.
Well, Riga couldn't sign Dubra because Riga to RFS is a one-way street. You can't go the other direction.
Oh, you can like no, there was
Who came from RFS to Riga?
there was some kind of I will not get it right now. I need to research it.
Yeah, so if there was someone clearly very obscure, because if I asked you the other way around, you'd have no trouble naming.
Odos, one name. Odos, one name.
Well, I mean that doesn't really count.
That doesn't really count, but yeah, but I remember there was one a little bit high profile player in Latin Santos, but yeah.
So these are the top four. I think the rest will cover a little bit more collectively, since there's also, with some exceptions, fewer transfers. For example, Daugavpils didn't really do much at this point. They signed an RFS Academy player and a foreign player, but I don't think we've really even seen that much of him yet.
No, he has played like there's some other guy, some Eugen guy. I don't know if he had some minutes, and Datil's guy from RFS also had some minutes, but there's a lot of talent in that Latvian midfielder from RFS.
Ephraim's Valuta Datils.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
same one. He has a lot of
he played for RFS reserve squad primarily.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't really know much about him, but I hope to see him because Jaleko really opened up in Daugavpils in such a way that he didn't open up in RFS.
but right now right now they are using those two 17-year-olds in the midfielder position, Barkovskis and Pinyaskins. They are, I think, looking pretty good in my opinion as a 17-year-old in the midfield. So good for them. I don't think they need Jaleko for what. Why they need Jaleko to secure to grow players for RFS? No, they need their own academy players to grow, and they are not like heading down to the second division. So why cannot they play their own academy players? So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
pretty much yeah.
Absolutely. Meta also not doing much. They signed Takaya Sasaki from Marupe, the team that Eriks plays for. We talked about that previously, and they got a promising guy from the Riga FC Academy, Dan Sirbu. Other than that, also not really active during the transfer window.
One under the radar move there is Denis Stradic, the young Latvian player. I think he was under 21 international. He played in the Austrian third division last season for Treiskirchen, and he was one of the top scorers in that league. And remember he wanted to move on to the Austrian second Liga, which is the second division, second higher. And but I guess he didn't get the offers he wanted, so he a little bit too late, and now he signed with Meta. But I think he might be a little under the radar signing because players who score like he scored like 12 or 13 goals in the Austrian third division and was one of the top scorers. So that's I think is good.
Yeah, no, it's under the radar to an extent that I wasn't aware of this, but sounds exciting.
He has played like he started in the last Virsliga game. I think he started, yeah. So he's a winger forward. He's mainly used as a winger, I think, for Meta, but he's a forward. So yeah, we will see what will happen with him. But yeah, about Meta, they are just signing young players, just like they do all the time. They have their experienced player in Fyodoros, and they don't need any others, so they are just growing their own academy players. So yeah.
A very attractive club development model and definitely bears long-term results for Latvian football as such. So, Matt, you keep on doing what you do. Another team that wasn't particularly active during the transfer window is Jelgava. Didn't really sign, I think, anything.
They just signed Supernova starting center back, Zelmanis.
Auda, I think, I mean, a bunch of, let's say, internal transfers from Riga FC, such as Korotkovs is back to Auda, and then Diawara, Petersons, who retired with Riga, I think, after the return leg against the Hungarian team, the Kecskemét.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
then he retired. Yeah. We talked about Rubenis already. We talked about Reginaldo Ramirez. They've been there for a little bit of time now. Anything noteworthy in Auda?
Yeah, I like the Bakary Diawara guy, 2003 year born player. He's still 19 years old. He's coming from the Rights to Dream Academy in Ghana, who is one of the best academies in the world, in my opinion, especially in Africa, because there's a I will butcher the name of the Danish side, North Yelden, and they just last night beat Partizan 5-0 in the Conference League playoff first leg game. And most of their players are coming, African players, all of them, let's say, are coming from the Rise to Dream Academy, and they are selling them from to the big clubs in Europe. So he's a very promising player, and he's very tall center back in my. There's a lot of great like things I have heard about him. And Korotkos and Petersons from Riga to Auda, they are like pretty much on they ended the deals with Riga, so they are signing as free agents with Auda. So they're on permanent basis if we compare to Reginaldo Ramirez or the same Diawara, who are on Auda on loan because yeah. So there's not a lot to talk about. I like the Clemente guy who's he's not shown on the LFF homepage in the transfer list, but the Portuguese, I think he was the midfielder. He did has some good things. A lot of unknown with Auda, but to be honest, they have been very active. Not like say very active, but they have been more active in the transfer market if you compare to Valmiera. So I have to give them an edge if we are going forward to the season over Valmiera.
So you think Auda is going to finish top 4?
I think yeah, Auda is going to finish the top 4 because they still have Reginaldo Ramirez, who I think is a very good forward. He's a sneaky, dirty guy. He's a very sneaky, dirty guy. But he's a great player. He can get under a lot of. He can get under the skin of the opposition players, of the opposition coaches, of the opposition fans. So I think he's a really sneaky, dirty guy, in my opinion. But he's a great forward, in my opinion, and he's like a difference maker for what what is the difference between Auda and Valmiera? Auda has the forward who can score goals. Valmiera doesn't have forwards who can score goals because they have had great XG in matches, but they don't convert it. So pretty much you cannot win games if you don't score goals.
Yeah, it's that and Auda has Riga.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
so that helps. Certainly with, expanding the scouting network and other things as well. All right, and that leaves Tukums and Supernova. Tukums had some additions, a bunch of loans from RFS, such as Pedro Arthur, who hasn't played anything for RFS other than in the reserve team. Mikasa Nagasawa, he of course played for RFS, including scoring a winning goal against Tukums back in the early stages of the season. And Oros, who we just mentioned, who was a Riga Academy player, then now in RFS and now loaned out to Tukums. They also got Daniel Grauds from Jelgava, and they got Kristaps Kreviņš, who is now playing more or less consistently, and he is from Riga Academy, going to Tukums.
Can't forget about Rodrigo Gauchis also. He scored 2 goals against Auda in the league. His first 2 goals to tie the game to end as the game ended 2-2 to as Auda lost important points. But yeah, about our Tukum signings, like yeah, pretty much most of them are on loan. I know there's this Tunisian center back. I remember he was Tunisian, Mihubi. He was
Kubi,
yeah, he was also with Tukums in the preseason in the February. He played for them some preseason games. But to me, the main thing is that Tukums lost the quality in the goalkeeping department because if you compare Wilkos to Orals, Wilkos went back to the RFS and Orals came in his place. Oh, he cannot save a thing right now, and that's why they started the last 2 games. The Kapustins guy who played last season in the Italian like D Series, like 4th tier. So yeah, the goalkeeping situation there is still a little shaky. But other players, I like Nagasawa. I loved how he played at the start of the season. And talking about others, Gauch is getting his opportunity in the highest league. And about others, they are like pretty much getting opportunity to play a highest league football for the first time, pretty much. Except yeah, except for Nagasawa, but he's now getting more constant. We talk about Pedro Artur, Kreviņš, yeah, because yeah, that's what they need to do. That's what they need to get the playing time, the constant playing time, the playing against the best Latvian teams to feel the game. So yeah, to be better. Yeah, that's pretty much it about Tukums. They just got some people on loan because they are not gonna pay salaries for the players. That's not gonna happen. So yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely not like some kind of a backwater for players who go on loan. If Stepanavicius is a fantastic example.
Yeah,
While Ian Tukums got first ever call up to the Lithuanian national team, and then a couple of months later was purchased by a Bulgarian Premier League side. So
and that's
I
pretty
mean,
and that's pretty much the hope for the, let's say, for the top four teams, top five teams. That's the hope for them, that they will get these lucky breaks with the players young. They will send them there. They will play excellent football, and they are hoping to sell them, or they will be integrated in the first team in the near future.
yeah, and Tukums is very conducive to that also because they play very open football.
Yeah,
They're not defensive, which is why they tend to lose. When they lose, they really lose like 6-0 and 10-0 last season. But they play open football that allows players to really show what they're all about, which is very good.
yeah.
And then last, I suppose not least, is Supernova. Anything noteworthy in Supernova?
Pretty much they got the investor, I guess, new, and they like brought in like five players who are on loan here from Leganes Academy, and there was a side from Czechia who they brought also two players. So pretty much, to be honest, nothing to talk about them a lot because they are just getting everyone who they can, like from the academy who can play, like who can like taste the big football, like. And to be honest, except for maybe Raivis Skrebels, who I liked as a player all the way back in when he played for Jurmal Spartaks.
Yeah, I mean, some of the players they brought in play well, but the team as such is yet to benefit from it. Supernova are still losing everything and getting an occasional draw.
The last part of the season, the main task for them is the main goal for them is to integrate their new players, young players, and show them what it's like to play. Just like I said with Tukums, introduce them to the big football. Let hope that they will get something like a transfer, that someone will see someone from their academy, like Kukulis example. He went to Inter. He has played like 3 games this season for Supernova in Virsliga. So maybe some other guys, because there are some talented guys on the Supernova Academy. So there are some there. Yeah, there are like 2, 3 names who can I name who I have seen look promising, in my opinion. Who I think might have a big future ahead of them. So integrate them to the squad, and because they know they will be relegated to the.
No, there's no chance.
There's no
There's
chance
no
they will.
chance.
So
They have
yeah,
8 points.
yeah,
Tukums above them is 24. And there's 10, 11 games to go. So no way.
10 games to go. Yeah. So pretty much that's it. And as Angelis, the president of the Supernova, said, he regrets that he signed those 2 Ukrainian players right now, because what is the point? He has to pay salary for them. Like not like what is the point, but what is the point? He can integrate his young Latvian players into the squad because he thought there was still opportunity to get some points and still like avoid relegation. But right now,
I mean, you needed to make more deliberate and determined decision making earlier in the season, if that's the thinking process, because Supernova, they didn't start terribly.
yeah, I did put them as a. I think I put them that they will finish sixth in
Wow,
my
yeah,
preseason
no,
rankings, or seventh,
yeah.
because I thought they were like, I thought they brought in like quality players.
Yeah, and on paper the squad looked great, but I mean, I was saying this from the beginning. The coach was really not helping things,
Yeah,
and then they just held on to him for way too long, and now team is looking healthier, but it's just too late. The case is terminal.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think overall, if you had to kind of put a grade on the overall summer transfer window? Are you excited? Are you neutral? Do you think the Virsliga has benefited from these players, or
To be honest, I would say looking at the Euro Cup results, I would give an like not a good grade or not a bad grade, like average grade on these transfers because
so B minus?
yeah, that would be great, like C plus, C plus, B minus, yeah, something like that. Because the teams are there are like top two teams, then there are three who are fighting for the Europe, and then there are the rest of the bunch. So pretty much the top two teams are looking to improve. One is improving, one is like selling their players and trying to improve, but still the Virsliga will obviously benefit. To answer your question, Virsliga will obviously benefit from these players, especially having Contreras or the same Taivo or Peña Iberico, those kinds of foreigners. They are great looking foreigners, in my opinion. And Virsliga will benefit from these players. Because, oh, you can see also that when we are looking like Riga last 5 games or 6 games at the Skonto, if we count Cup and League, not counting the European games, the attendance is over 1,000. I can't remember the last time when there was a like 1,000 people in attendance for like 6 straight league games previous seasons in the summer. So I think
Oh,
that
that's exciting.
yeah, the league is uprising. The people want to come to the games, but yeah, I think the league is benefiting from it. Obviously, the quality of the league is not that good if we compare to last year. The Riga and RFS are the pretty much like the same, but other teams are like level below if we compare to last season. So a lot of players did get more. We sold like every year. Well, Virsliga sold some player to the other league for some big transfer fee. So that's great. At least because if we compare to Ireland, there are no transfers abroad going out for over €1 million, for example. There have been none. So if we come and we are with Ireland in the same like rankings in the UEFA rankings, so that just show that the league is growing because we are selling now more players for €1 million.
I agree. I think B minus seems appropriate. All right, Yanni, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your opinions with us. Do you want to tell people where they can find you once again?
You can find me on Twitter at LW Football News. There is content every day almost, and you can contact me in the Latvian Football in English at gmail.com if there's some questions about it. My DMs are also open, and from time to time I write some things on my Substack, which is latvianfooty.substack.com, and that's pretty much where you can find me. I have my followers. I usually respond to people, and you can see there about info about Latvian abroad players, Latvian league transfers, Virsliga transfers, game recaps. So pretty much every information about Latvian football for like 5 years now, you can find there.